Bama gang. Cause we always hit the nail on the head. So check this out, my Miami Hurricane fans, my college football fans in general. So, the fate of the University of Miami. The fate of the University of Miami. Now, if you've been living under a rock, let me bring you up to date. College football conference realignment is not a joke anymore. It's not a joke anymore. It's not something that you just pass on a little conversation. It's not just Texas and Oklahoma anymore. This thing is getting serious. So, the fate of Miami. Where will Miami end up? The ACC, will it implode? Will teams get purged and all that good stuff? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So the ACC, basically, ACC. Now, as you guys know, Miami just got new coaches, new culture, new facilities being built, everything like that. We are about to literally run the ACC, if there's an ACC to be ran. Now, USC, UCLA, invited to the Big Ten, moving to the Big Ten 2024. They already accepted. It's going on, guys. So you'll have Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC in 2025. You'll also have, UCLA and USC in the Big Ten. Now, from what I'm hearing, also the Big Ten also is inviting Oregon and Washington also, and also are right now on layaway, on the waiting list, basically, for Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the biggest domino in this thing. Seems like Notre Dame is sitting on the pedestal right now for the Big Ten based on their decision. Now, keep in mind, Notre Dame also could join the ACC. And I think if Notre Dame were to join the ACC, that would possibly keep the ACC intact, because most likely they would also take away West Virginia from the Big 12. Now, here's the deal with the Big 12. The Big 12 right now is a weak conference. It's a weak conference. They just brought in UCF, Houston, BYU, and what's the others? I think it's Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. But they brought in those schools, not big market schools or anything like that. So, Miami. Right now, I'm not sure where Miami would end up. Basically, the Big Ten is an option. Of course, from what I'm hearing, the SEC is already extending interest, not offers, interest in Clemson, Florida State, Virginia, and North Carolina. Those are the schools that I'm hearing that they're, sending out basically invites without sending out invites, showing that there's interest there. Now, where is Miami in this all, equation? It's all based on Notre Dame. Now, I'm also hearing that the Big Ten is sending out invites to Stanford to even more entice Notre Dame in joining the Big Ten. So if Notre Dame were to join the Big Ten now, they would have UCLA, USC, Stanford, and they would have to play Michigan State and Michigan. Those are huge games for Notre Dame. Normally, they play those games all the time anyway. College alignment destroy rivalries sometimes, guys. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about the Big 12 and the Big 10. Not Big 10, I'm sorry, the Big 12 and the Pac-12. With USC and UCLA departing, Oregon and Washington's looking for their destination. What happens to the other teams in that conference? The Arizona schools aren't that strong. You do have Utah, Colorado, and those schools, their market's not that strong. You also have the Big 12. The Big 12, like I said, brought in UCF and all of them. Not strong. The schools that they have in there already, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Texas Tech, TCU, those schools are not that strong, guys. They do have the Texas market and a little bit of the Oklahoma market, but not enough to basically compete with the likes of the SEC and the Big Ten the way things are going. Now, what I do believe could happen and probably should happen, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 should come together and form one conference. Now, the way things are going, none of these conferences can trust each other. You got the SEC purging off other teams from other conferences. You got the Big Ten purging the same thing, you know, taking teams from here and there. So eventually, what I think is going to happen is exactly what Kirk Herbstreit said, and that is basically the AFC versus the NFC. The NFL, guys, that's where it seemed to be headed. And eventually, these conferences are going to be so big to the point where you might just end up with the SEC and the Pac and the Big Ten. Might just be those two with all the strongest candidates from the other conferences, and then at the end of the year, it's like a playoff Super Bowl kind of deal in college football. Things are real shaky right now. There's no ground to stand on. Now, as a Miami fan, right now we are sitting back and waiting on our fate. Will the ACC stay alive? Do the ACC have enough teams to stay alive and to compete with the market with the SEC and the Big Ten going the way that they're going? I doubt it. The ACC is already considered one of the weakest conference when it comes to revenues and ratings and stuff like that. Teams that can hold their own in the market, Miami, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, those teams are all being, you know, enticed right now. So if any of those teams, if maybe just one were to take a leap and go to a different conference, the ACC could just literally cease to exist. Now, there are some penalties with contracts. As you guys know, we're locked in with the ACC market-wise until I think it's 2036. So the conference, the teams in the conference, if they do decide that they want to go elsewhere, want to explore the market in the Big Ten, the SEC, or even over in the Pac-12, Big 12 area, which that's not off the limits no more because geographics don't matter no more. USC and UCLA just proved that. They'll play games in the Big Ten all the way from California. So geographically, throw that out the window. We no longer care about geographics. We'll take a flight anywhere. So where will Miami end up now? SEC and Big Ten is the two that's being brought up. From what I'm hearing, the academic standpoint would fit Miami better to be in the Big Ten. Plus, all the teams in the Big Ten would possibly give Miami a better rivalry, you know, because let's just say the SEC takes Florida State and Clemson. Well, obviously the ACC is done. They don't have a big enough market now to do really anything. I mean, what, Duke, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Pitt, those schools aren't going to be able to live up to, you know, brand wise, it's not going to be able to live up to the market. So right now we have a huge mess going on. So the fate of Miami, where do you guys want to see Miami? Now, I know a lot of you fans are going to say the SEC. A lot of you guys are going to say the Big Ten. Both make sense. They really do. Geographically, don't matter no more. So don't say, hey, you know, we're in the market where, you know, we're close to these teams, that team. That does not matter no more. That do not matter. Get in the comment section, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Where do Miami end up? What do Notre Dame decide to do? Now, I'm going to say this straight up. As much as I hate Notre Dame, they are the biggest piece to this puzzle right now. Everybody is sitting back right now waiting on the decisions of Notre Dame. Will they stay independent? Will they join the conference? Will they, you know, they're right now, Oregon and Washington, fate is in their hand. Stanford's fate is in their hand. Miami's fate is in their hand. The SEC, the Big Ten as a whole, as a conference, is in their hand. This conference realignment is going to get juicy, guys. But where do Miami end up? And where do you want Miami to end up?